Well, it's official. 2023 is here. We're bringing in a new year. And what does that mean? New laws and regulations in the state of California. Let's take a dive into what new laws and regulations go into effect in 2023 and how these laws and regulations may affect your everyday life. The very first law I want to discuss with you here today, and the one that really is something I'm excited to discuss with you, is SB 1008. So prior to January 1st, 2023, if you had a family member or a friend that was in custody in the state of California, whether that's in state prison or whether that's in county jail, there was actually a charge by the minute to speak with them. Now it's going to be free for those who are in California's prisons and jails to communicate with friends and family using the prison telecommunication system. It was a $68.2 million a year industry for these companies that run the state telecommunication system for inmates and other prisoners. Now, 1/3 of families that used to be affected negatively and go into debt simply trying to communicate with their loved one that may be behind bars is going to be able to be free of that burden. It disproportionately affected women to stay in communication with their loved ones behind bars. And I think the statistic was somewhere about 87% of women were affected by this in some way, shape, or form. And 1/3 of the families in the state of California were going into debt simply trying to communicate with a family member who is incarcerated. This is a huge law that's going to make it a lot easier for my clients and anyone else that you may know that is in custody to be able to communicate with those on the outside. This is a huge law, and I'm happy that it's going into effect. The second law that's big and noteworthy in 2023 is SB 1228, which has to do with rape kits and victims' DNA being stored and made searchable by California law enforcement agencies. So prior to January 1st, 2023, law enforcement agencies would routinely save DNA from rape and sexual assault victims and put them in a searchable database. Then if that victim committed the crime in the future and there was DNA obtained at the crime scene, they would search the prior DNA collected from the rape samples and they would make arrests based on that. This was a huge inconvenience and a huge invasion of privacy for many alleged victims of rape and sexual assault cases. Now that is no longer the fact or the circumstance. California is prohibiting law enforcement from being able to make DNA rape kits searchable for use in future criminal proceedings. This is a huge win. All right, this third one goes out to all of my creatives out there, my rappers, my musicians, anyone that's in a creative field. This is for you. AB 2799. What this does is it stops situations like the Young Thug RICO trial that's currently going on. It stops situations like the Drakeo the Ruler case that he faced, where prosecutors try to use the lyrics of rappers against them in future criminal proceedings. So as we all know, in the Drakeo case, they used his own lyrics against him. They played his lyrics to a jury. Same thing is being fought right now in the Young Thug RICO case down in Georgia. This law makes it where the judge has discretion on whether or not rap lyrics or any other kind of lyrics can be used in a criminal case. The judge must take into account whether those lyrics were made on or around the time of the suspected crime, whether or not those lyrics provide some kind of details to the crime that was not publicly available, and whether or not the burden to the defendant, meaning the substantial likelihood that the jury may just not like them based on their own lyrics, is outweighed by the use of those lyrics in the trial. It's a big evidence issue that we may discuss in a future video. Leave some comments down below if you want us to discuss the probative value and relevance of evidence. But this is a huge win for those who are musicians and other forms of artists in the state of California. Major win. It is a huge thing that I am glad, because you know what? California is the home of many kinds of music, including gangster rap. If you go back to thinking about NWA and some of these other artists, and prosecutors are just overusing a rapper's lyrics, which are usually fantasized against them in a criminal trial. I'm happy to see that this is no longer going to be the situation in the state of California. Next up, we have AB 1700. What AB 1700 does is it really aims to tackle organized retail theft. What organized retail theft means is that groups of individuals actually use retail theft to support a bigger idea or business. And it is a huge issue. Prior to going to law school and opening up my own office, I worked in loss prevention. And I can tell you that there were large groups of people that were organized about how they committed thefts in different stores throughout the country. It's a multi-million or billion-dollar a year industry for people stealing merchandise from stores and going and reselling them somewhere else. This leads to increased prices for shoppers, as well as just stores going out of business. So AB 1700 actually creates a database on the state attorney general's website to track stolen items. And it also gives law enforcement an opportunity to hold those who are accused of organized retail theft, not petty theft, not just I was in the store and I took a few items. Those who are accused of organized retail theft, and keep them behind bars awaiting their case being heard by a judge or a jury. This is a big law that may affect you if you're facing any kind of theft charges. So if you are, make sure you reach out and speak with us about how we may be able to assist you and how this law may affect you. SB 836 prohibits any party in a criminal case from disclosing the immigration status of the defendant. This is a huge win for immigrants in the state of California, and it really helps out because now prosecutors, defense attorneys, nobody can disclose the immigration status of a defendant in a criminal case without obtaining the judge's consent. Here's one I didn't see coming. Jaywalking is no longer illegal. Well, kind of. Now in the state of California, you no longer have to walk to the crosswalk to cross the street without fear of a law enforcement officer detaining you and potentially citing you for jaywalking. There are still some issues with this where you have to make sure that it is safe and reasonable for you to cross the street without using the crosswalk. So if you do it and it causes immediate danger or reasonable fear of danger to you or another person in a car, that can still be a criminal act. But overall, jaywalking is no longer a crime. And this is a huge win because you know what? When I go to court sometimes, those crosswalks are few and far in between. And I always have to walk the extra, quarter mile. Now, as long as it's safe, I can do it without fear of being cited and or detained. So can you. Now, I have really saved the best for last, and this is the biggest one that I can discuss. And it's the one that I'm the most excited to discuss with you. SB 731. What this does is it expunges and seals criminal records for many of the felons in the state of California. So if you have been convicted of a felony on or after January 1st, 2005, you've completed the task that the court has set out for you, whether that's probation or parole or any other task. And if you have not had another felony within the last 4 years, the state of California is automatically going to expunge your criminal record and seal it. Now, there are two major exceptions. Those who have been convicted of serious violent offenses, you would have to actually petition the court to see if they are willing to expunge your criminal past. And those who have been convicted of sexually related offenses are not eligible for expungement. But as we all know, felonies affect your life in a variety of ways. Most notably, trying to get a house, trying to get a job, or trying to go to school to better yourself. All of these scenarios usually have a question that asks you, have you ever been convicted of a felony? As soon as you check that yes box, usually your hopes of getting that house, getting that job, or going to school are down the drain. Now, that is no longer the case because if you have been convicted of a felony after January 1st, 2005, you finished up your probation, parole, and you have not caught a new felony case after that time or within 4 years, guess what? You are able to check the no box, and realistically speaking, you are free to get that job, get that house, or get that school education to better your life. If you're interested in how I may be able to help you seal your criminal background, make sure to reach out because I am excited to discuss this with as many people as I can and really help as best as I can because I think that this has been something that's been plaguing California families for a very long time. You make a mistake when you're very young and you've turned your life around completely, and guess what? You're still barred from doing many of the things that we take for granted every day. So SB 731 solves that issue, and I'm here to help you on that. I'm very excited to discuss this with anyone that may reach out to my office and see what we can do to help them seal their criminal past. With the new year, I'm trying to make sure that I provide some new education to all of those who not only are thinking about hiring my office, but just those that are interested in the law and how they can protect themselves. So I'm going to be releasing a lot more YouTube content. I'm going to be releasing a lot more written content for people on our website, VincentHughesLaw.com. I'm going to be making sure that I stay connected with as many people as I can to provide education in the law, tips, tricks, and other things that may be beneficial to you. So if you like this video or you find that some of this information was useful, make sure to hit that link below and subscribe and like this video. Comment below and let me know what you want me to cover in some topics this year. And I just want to say that I am thankful for all of those that take the time to watch these videos, and I look forward to putting out more quality content for you in 2023 and beyond. I hope everybody has a great New Year's. I'll talk to you soon, and never forget, when accused, call Hughes.